to kind of try to understand what was going on. And I saw something today that really got my attention, that really made me think, I wonder if this fits my theory. Now, I told you guys from the very beginning that it was my belief that the Tyre Nichols beating was not just a random act that occurred just out of the blue. I don't believe that it was something that involved, people just hunting black people and deciding they want to beat up black men and kill black men for no reason. I'm not saying that any of it was justified. Clearly, it was wrong. But I know black men. I've been a black man my whole life now, and I can tell you, my feeling from the very jump was that this was not sort of your straight up simple run of the mill racism. That this was actually something that was personal. I said, you don't know, you don't understand. I know cops. My daddy was a cop. My daddy was a cop for almost 30 years. He was almost the chief of police of the city of Louisville, where Breonna Taylor was killed. That's how deep it got. Right when the Breonna thing happened, I called my daddy. I said, Daddy, what the hell? what are your colleagues doing? By that time, my father had retired. But I knew some black cops on the force, guys I trusted, guys that I went to kindergarten with, and they were kind of giving me the real deal of what was going on. These were good guys that were really just kind of telling me the difference between the reality versus the politics. I'm not going to really share much of any of that because I don't really, sometimes when you lay out too much of the truth, it offends people. So I'm not even going to go there. But what I am going to say is that when I saw this thing go down, give me a yes if you felt the same way. I don't know if anybody else felt like that or if it was just me. How many of you felt that when these brothers did this to this other brother, when these 5 cops got together and decided we're going to beat this black man till they probably didn't plan on killing him, but they said we're going to beat him to an inch of his life. How many of you felt like they probably knew each other? How many of y'all felt like, okay, familiarity breeds contempt? This ain't just a random traffic stop. This is overzealous policing. This isn't just racism 101. This is I'm gonna kill that Negro, right? Like that, like street stuff. This was gang affiliated. This is a gang hit, right? And in case you don't know, the police department is a gang. They just happen to be the most powerful gang in the city, back with the power of the state. But in many cases, cops operate just like a street gang. They have a code just like street gangs do. They have loyalty to one another just like street gangs do. My daddy told me when he joined the police force many, many years ago that he had white guys on the police force with him who were members of the KKK. Believe it or not, he literally joined the force with white guys who were members of the KKK. And he said that those white guys would back me before they backed somebody on the street. He said they would protect me before they protected a white guy on the street. That's how deep that blue line went, because the blue line was obviously out of control, but it was also driven by this intense desire for safety. If we stick together, we can stay safe. Problem is that the police became militarized during the crack era, and you started giving police weapons that would kill people in an instant. You started giving them too much authority. You started allowing them to run rampant over more vulnerable citizens in our communities, particularly black and brown people, poor people, etc. And that's when policing really became a big, big, big problem. But I'm gonna tell you this: I never really hated all cops, but I definitely have an issue with bad cops, and I think it's very important that we always distinguish between the good cops and bad cops, because I guarantee that if something happens to you tomorrow, you're going to call the cops. You might hate the cops, but there might be a time when you need the cops. And I guarantee you that when you need the cops, you're going to call the cops. Give me a yes in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. If you understand that this is a nuanced conversation, this is not a Democrat or Republican conversation. This cannot be left or right, red or blue conversation. This must be nuanced. We must understand. Give me a yes if you want this, if you want to break it down like this, as opposed to getting caught up in the stupid politics of it all, where you got white people convincing you that Black Lives Matter, even though they letting black people die in the hood left and right. I never bought into any of that. I'm not in that category. You can't put me in a box. So let me jump into this. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Let me give you basically kind of a synopsis of what I've seen. And I have not fully confirmed it all. So if there's more confirmation, I'm going to keep looking for it, but I'm going to share what I've seen so far. There is a discussion about a guy named Demetrius Haley. Demetrius Haley is one of the officers that was involved in the killing of Tyre Nichols. Demetrius Haley, according to several people on the internet that have been talking about this, Demetrius Haley has a wife or ex-wife or ex or something. Maybe they're separated, they're divorced, or whatever the case may be, that works at FedEx. Well, guess who else happens to be affiliated with FedEx? Can anybody guess who might also be affiliated with FedEx, where one of the officers' wives apparently works. None of this is completely confirmed. This is all stuff. This is not solid, thorough, deep dive journalism. So do not mistake it for that. Right? I encourage you to go do your own research with it. But I have to lay it out there because this fit entirely with my theory. I told y'all this wasn't no random traffic stop. This wasn't just no like, oh, we're gonna find us some niggers and go kill us some niggers tonight. This was personal. This was absolutely personal. I believe it was personal. And even if it's not confirmed, I still believe it was personal because, again, I bet if you go into the background of Demetrius Haley and the other cops involved in this killing, including the white guy that for some reason they haven't charged him too. I don't know why they haven't brought him out. They need to bring him and deal with him too. You know, here's the thing. It doesn't make it okay, though, right? It doesn't make it okay. So let's be clear. We're not exonerating the police. We're not here saying, oh, yeah, see, that's why they killed him. Maybe you got to kill him because you sleep with a man's wife, man. That's what's going to happen. No, I'm not saying that. You can think about it how you want to, right? People take that sort of thing seriously. The penitentiaries are full of men who killed other men because they were sleeping with their wives. Will Smith ran up and slapped Chris Rock because he disrespected his woman, right? Imagine if Chris Rock had slept with his woman, right? Then it would have got real gangster at that point, right? We encourage that kind of behavior in our community. We encourage our black men, show your manhood by going and showing up and beating the hell out of somebody to mess with your woman, right? And I don't agree with that all the time. I kind of think that the woman holds some responsibility. I think that if it was the case that that woman was involved in connected in some problematic way with Tyre Nichols, I look at the woman. You know, women make their own choices these days. You can't beat a woman over the head with a club and make her sleep with you or whatever it is. I'm not even saying that Tyre was sleeping with her. So let's be clear about that. But there appears to have been a connection, at least based on a lot of stuff that I'm seeing online. Now, here's the thing. Here's another thing that made this very credible for me. Again, this is personal experience right now. This is not deep dive journalism. I'm not NBC. There's more research out there. I'm gonna keep looking. If I'm wrong, then I'll just be wrong. I'll admit that I'm wrong. But when I saw this, it really kind of struck a chord with me because let me tell you this. In many cases, there are a few men more jealous in a relationship than police officers. Has anybody ever seen? I'm not stereotyping all cops. I'm not stereotyping all cops. But I can think of a time. Let me tell you a story. When I was many years before I met my wife, I met a very nice lady 15, 20 years ago who gained an interest in. She said, yeah, I'm in the middle of a divorce. I said, okay, that makes this okay. That makes it all right for us to kind of get to know each other. And she said, but my husband is a cop and he is watching my house. He is threatening to kill me. And I don't think you want to come around here because my husband, might not take it so well. And I remember when you're talking about police officers, you're talking about a special kind of human being. Special in a good way, special in a bad way. So in some cases, and the good way is that cops are brave and willing to go. Most cops, good cops, are brave and willing to go into dangerous situations and put their lives on the line for perfect strangers. Every single day my father got up and went to work, my mother would worry that he wasn't coming home that night. It takes a special person to do that kind of work because basically you're a soldier. Shout out to every soldier in here. It takes courage to do that. The downside of that, though, which is why they do the mental health checks for police officers coming into the force, is that there are some men and women who want to be cops so they can have power and authority over others. And that is where your big problem is in this situation. View. The big problem here is that you have individuals on the police force who believe they are above the law. They believe they can go out and plant drugs on somebody and not have it be a problem. They believe they can falsely accuse somebody and not have it be a problem. They believe they can steal money from dope dealers and have it not be a problem. Some of them, there have been many cases where cops were even hired as hitmen. Biggie and Pac, their murders were connected to former police officers. So this to me is what it crossed into in my view. My spidey senses tell me that the Tyre Nichols incident spun into this space where you have people that are police officers that put on the uniform in the day, but are really gangsters that are just verified by the state. You know, they're just the same way the thug down the street might pull out a strap and kill somebody. Well, what better way to be a contract killer or a hitman or a gangster than to get your police uniform? Then you can kill black people and no one will ever question you. You'll get a badge of honor. The police department will say, good job, son. You're one of the best officers on the force. right? Because actually they show that and this is why this prosecution of these officers is so important. Studies show that the victim of the perpetrator, excuse me, the race of the perpetrator is not the driving factor in whether or not a person gets prosecuted at a high level when they commit a murder. It's not the race of the perpetrator. You know what it is? It's the race of the victim. It's the race of the victim. So in this country for many, many years, if you kill a black man, give me a yes in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. If you kill a black man, you're far less likely to go to jail than if you kill a white man. If you kill a poor man or poor woman, you're far less likely to go to jail than if you kill a rich man or rich woman. When I was in Nigeria, I remember hearing these guys. I guess they thought because we all a bunch of rich people sitting around, they could say it in front of me, and it bothered me, it disgusted me. They said it. They said, "Oh yeah, here in Nigeria, if you run someone over and kill them, you just pay enough. You pay some money, pay a few $100s, and then it'll go away." They literally said that, and I was like, "Oh well, I don't want to kill nobody." And that, thanks for letting me know. But yeah, I hope that we don't have to apply that rule. And then also, I think about when my best friend Greg Wilkins got killed in Louisville, Kentucky, my home city, where Breonna Taylor was killed. And I remember that his death, because he was a black male, did not mean anything. They don't care when black men get killed. So the Tyre Nichols prosecution is important for that reason, for the fact that if you want to point to an incident where the world is showing that maybe Black Lives Matter a little bit, then this is showing it. It's saying, hey, look, we know maybe this was personal. Maybe this was something where y'all just decided y'all want to get together and get into thug life. Again, no, it's no different to me in my mind than just a bunch of street dudes who all got together and decided to beat up another dude. The guy dies. I don't think anybody planned for that, but there is a price to pay for that. There's a price to pay. And then also there's really a point to be made about choices and decision making. And this is important. We talked about this a lot during the Will Smith incident. Well, all my friends that were, and I get it. I hear everybody that was saying we got to protect black women, and what Will did was right, and that's the way to do it. And I had a problem with that. I felt uncomfortable with that, with people cheering on Will Smith for slapping Chris Rock, because I said, yeah, I get it. We got to protect black women. Yeah, I get it. You feel some kind of way if somebody is doing something untoward with your woman, but people get killed over that stuff. You go and you decide you want to slap anybody who looks at your girl, talks to your girl funny, gets involved with your girl. Well, the prison is full of men who decided to go out like gangsters because of something that happened over a woman. And if you do that, if you make that choice, I just want to say, I hope that it's worth it. I hope that it's a woman who really, really needed your help. I hope that it's a woman who's really, really appreciative of what you did, not some ex who's pretty much dumped you no matter what. I hope that you're willing. I hope you truly understand when you take those penitentiary chances that you might end up looking like these guys that are being prosecuted for killing Tyre Nichols. I just really, so it really bothers me, especially if that woman has moved on, if that woman is living her best life and she decides she want to go jump in the bed with some other guy. Man, if you can't handle that, then go get a therapist. Get a therapist that will talk you out of going and doing whatever it is that you want to do, because we've all felt it. Jealousy is a horrible, horrible energy. And also on top of that, maybe you may want to make sure you don't hang out with a woman that's going to really test your jealousy in that way. Like, that's not cool. And so ultimately I feel bad all the way around. I feel like this was a scenario where it was clearly an unfair fight. Five guys, they had the authority of the state backing them, and they made a bad choice to go after this guy. Allegedly, again, this is all what the internet's saying. So maybe I'm just talking outside of my neck. If I'm wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong. I promise you that. But I really believe that whole theory that there was a connection with these individuals, and that and when I heard that it involved a woman, I said, okay, I get it. It's a cop pissed off that some guy is messing with his woman. He gets his boys who back him up to go pull this guy over. The plan is to beat him up badly, and he ends up dying. Now they all go to prison. So you're going to prison because you got caught up in some sucker shit with your homeboy, which happens to many, many black men in this country. That's why you got to raise your sons right. Teach your sons to be leaders, not followers. Teach your sons to walk away from bad situations. Or if your sons are following the crowd, then they're going to end up getting killed too. They're going to go to prison too. They're going to end up in bad situations too. So teach them how to be leaders, not followers. Very, very important. So one black man is dead. 5 black men are going to jail. Maybe a white boy will go to jail too. But that's what I'm seeing in this situation. This ain't Emmett Till to me. This ain't Emmett Till. This is not What is it? George, what's his face? And I forgot the name. 10 years ago, Trayvon Martin. This ain't Trayvon Martin to me. This is 5 dudes that were mad, who had the power of the state that allowed them to go seek revenge, allegedly, on a person who they ended up killing, probably not intentionally. They probably just planned to beat him up real bad and teach him a lesson. But now everybody's being taught a lesson. And believe me, the school of life can teach you some horrible, painful lessons. And I hope that you and your son never have to learn this the hard way. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on this situation. I just wanted to throw that out there. If anybody has a question, please leave it in the chat, in the comments, and maybe some of y'all are down in Memphis and you know some stuff that's going on. I kind of think that those connections amongst Black people are a little bit more effective in terms of finding out what the real story is. I don't want to know the CNN version of the story. I don't want to know the Democratic Party version of the story. I don't want to know the Republican Party version of the story. I want to hear the real story. And that's really what I'm actually interested in this situation, because there's always a lesson to be learned. You just got to make sure you learn the right lesson. So anyway, guys, that's it. I'm out of here. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll know when I go live. Also, on my website, boycewatkins.com, I did a presentation the other day that everybody loved called How to Make Money Without Working. It talks about stock options and selling stock options and how to make money with that. It's pretty cool. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com to take a look. Also, my new book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, is out. It's on Amazon. And so if you get it on Amazon, if you could leave a review, I'd appreciate it. The reviews so far are pretty good. Or you can get it on my website. So anyway, take care, guys. Have a good day. God bless you. My wife is waiting for me to go running, so I'm going to go hang out with my baby, because I protect my Black woman by being nice to her, so she ain't out here trying to get with some other man. Because but even if she did, I'd have to move on. You can't go chase a woman down and beat up anybody that looks at her, because I don't think that's the best way to go. I think that a real man knows how to move on and find somebody better, find a better option. Don't go to prison over somebody who don't even love you no more. But if I don't know if that's the case or not, but if it is, then I feel very sorry for everybody involved. So take care, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Love you. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.